What's up, guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Real Housewives of New Jersey. This is season 14, episode 11. So let's get into it. All right, y'all know sometimes before we get into it, we get a little spicy, just a little bit. And there's just a few things I want to talk to y'all about before we get into this review. Now, we all know that they're not getting a reunion, and they were trying to figure out what they were going to do for a reunion. Honestly, I don't even think if we weren't going to get a reunion, they just should have did what they've been doing with the after show, where they asked these women like specific questions pertaining to the season and kept it pushing. But no, they had a different idea. So this is coming from Reality Entertainment TV's IG page. Now, if I find the Variety article which they're referencing in their post, I will definitely link it in the description box below if you would like to read it for yourself. But I'm just going to read the excerpt and the caption that they placed on their page. So it says this week on Monday, July the 15th, to be exact, the irreparable divided cast of The Real Housewives of New Jersey convened at Rail Steakhouse in Tawaka, New Jersey to film a very different kind of reunion for season 14. In fact, it wasn't a reunion at all, but a watch party in which they convened under one roof to watch the finale. For what it looks like their last gathering together, given the toxic split in the cast, practically from the start of the season in May, Real Housewives executive producers Andy Cohen has made no secret of the fact that the one beloved part of the Bravo franchise will be heading for a reboot after it concludes on August the 4th. And so the caption goes, it says, according to Variety, instead of filming a reunion, the Real Housewives of New Jersey cast was divided into two groups. Teresa Giudice, Jennifer Aiden, Jackie Goldsnyder is the first group. The second group is Melissa Gorga, Margaret Joseph, Danielle Cabarelli, Rachel Fuda, and Jennifer Fessler to watch the season finale in a separate rooms. Andy Cohen was not in attendance, and Dolores was in both groups. I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. My thing about it is it's frustrating watching this season because there are moments in this show where I'm like, if y'all were dedicated to actually wanting to have a good show, y'all could work through these issues and we could have a good show. Because there's moments throughout each episode where the ladies seem to be getting along, it's lighthearted, it's a good time, but then they revert back to the like toxicity, and it's frustrating because it's like y'all all about to be out of a good paycheck, and you can only blame yourself in production for not forcing y'all to get it together. But honestly, I think this is stupid. I would rather them not have a reunion than give us this. Like, just do what you did with Real Housewives of New York and not give us a reunion and reboot the whole entire franchise, and let's move on. So the next thing I wanted to talk to y'all about is also what People Magazine had to say. So I'm getting this from OMFG Reality TV, and I'm going to do the same thing where I just read the caption, but if I can find the article that they are referencing, I will put it in the description box below. But it says this: Real Housewives, Bravo has plans to rebrand the Real Housewives of New Jersey, according to People. So it goes on to say, according to People, it's being reported that Bravo has plans to rebrand RHONJ with fresh new faces. Quote from the article below. On Monday, July the 15th, Andy Cohen confirmed during a live episode of SiriusXM, Andy Cohen Live, that Bravo was working on revamping the long-running reality show. When a fan called in and asked a question, they admitted that the franchise could use new energy after the controversial season. And it goes on to say, I think it's time to do what happened to New York. Bring fresh faces in, the caller explained, referring to Real Housewives of New York recent casting shakeup. The fans added how the new Real Housewives of New Jersey cast members Danielle Cabrera and Rachel Fuda have brought a fresh, young dynamic to the group. Head over to the Instagram to read, and then they source where they got the image from. I agree. I do think it's time for them to give us fresh faces, new blood. I mean, I wouldn't mind for Rachel and Danielle to come back, mainly because I don't think it's fair for them to do a cast shakeup and they just got here. They only been here for 2 seasons and then they lose a job. I don't think that's fair. And in all honesty, I don't really see it for Danielle or Rachel. They just don't really do it for me. I know a lot of people are gagged by them, but they don't really gag me. I'm just kind of like, they here, you know? But I don't think that they should lose a job like that quickly. But I just don't know if you can really build a cast around them. And with the things that I've been hearing online about them and wanting them to be like, wanting New Jersey to be like them, my bad, I can't get my thoughts together. Them auditioning and looking for women who are like wives and girlfriends of professional athletes, WAGs, neither Rachel nor Danielle fit that, So I don't know, but I definitely think it's time for new blood. I mean, if anything, I could see them doing Rachel and Danielle because they're new, and possibly Jennifer Fessler and possibly Dolores. Those 4 women, and then adding like 3 or 4 new women in and seeing what happens. But I think the network is too scary to take a chance on a Real Housewives of New Jersey without Teresa because of how long Teresa has been here since season 1 and how loyal her following is. But if they were smart, they would just give Teresa her own show like they did Kim Zolciak, who I don't understand how that lady had a show for 8 years or more, and then just give, and then make Real Housewives of New Jersey a thing by itself without Teresa. So the last topic we're going to talk about is Danielle. So she was on Watch What Happens Live, and she got asked the question about did she regret the comment that she made at Jennifer at the Namaste podcast event. She also got asked a question about how does she feel about the whole hairdressers coming out against her and saying that she didn't pay them and things of that nature. So let me play that clip for you guys.
Corinne O wants to know, Danielle, is there any part of you that regrets getting worked up and telling Jennifer she looks like crap at Teresa's podcast event?
No, that was my favorite part of the whole thing.
That was your favorite
part? That was a good one, yeah.
Okay. Danielle, Cindy Marie 10 said, if Jennifer's so wrong in this, how come 3 hairstylists came out with the same story about you promising promotion in lieu of payment?
Well, it was 1. And unfortunately, that's the downside of fame, I think. You realize there aren't people with good intentions in the world. So that's the hardest thing I learned about fame this year.
So that was Danielle. I kind of laughed because I knew she wasn't going to feel bad about what she said. And I mean, if she don't feel bad, she don't feel bad. She actually looked really pretty at this Watch What Happens Live. One thing that I did find interesting is that I thought Andy was going to be more receptive to her because we all know Andy doesn't like Jennifer Aiden. So I was just like, oh, you don't really like her either, because he was kind of he wasn't very inviting and welcoming. The same way I felt like he was when it came to Caroline Brooks from Real Housewives of Dubai when she was on Watch What Happens Live. Andy's poker face is gone. You can tell when Andy doesn't really feel a housewife or not, or a guest. And it kind of gave that. He wasn't really into her responses. And so I was just like, oh, I just wasn't expecting that. Now, when it comes to the hairdressers, I've seen several other hairdressers come out and say that's Danielle's MO. But I think the thing that puts me off about Danielle is that's the price of fame. And I don't really think you're famous off of this. You know what I'm saying? Because when people refer to this show, they don't really talk about Danielle. But I don't know. Maybe if she would have hit Teresa, it'd have been different. You know what I'm saying? So the last thing I want to talk about is Danielle in this picture. So she posted a picture of the cake that they had at the pajama party, and one of the figurines on the cake kind of fell off, and she was saying that was Jennifer. So she made this statement. She said, "Those damn bumps, hashtag whoops. Am I milking it? Yeah. Is it petty? Sure. Was it worth it? Absolutely. At FUD Cupcakes for the win. Old school yet so delicious box cake like mom used to make. Hashtag RHONJ. Hashtag Hashtag one less monkey jumping on the bed. Hashtag Fuda pajama party. P.S. How gorgeous was the party though? At Rachel, Fuda did a great job. So if you look at it, it's a cake, and like I said, one of the figures fell off, and she's saying that was Jennifer. So you got Dolores in the comments laughing, but she deleted it because everyone was like, aren't you supposed to be Switzerland? Why are you laughing at Jennifer? Then you had Melissa say, oh, this was amazing about the cake. And then another person said this, lost so much respect for this post, knowing she has kids that can be bullied this way. So another person responded to this person by saying, or be bullies. I certainly do not hope for either of this for their children. And then another person said, maybe this is somebody standing up to a bully. And then Danielle said, bingo. And then someone else posted this, people who are saying she's bullying, it's called standing up for yourself. Good for you, girl. They've been getting away with too much, and it's about time someone stands up to them. I don't have an issue with Danielle defending herself. You know, when the information came out about the situation between her and Jennifer, it was presented like she was the aggressor. She was the one that did, like, you know, she initiated combat first. And then it turns out that's not what happened. So I don't have a problem with her being like, you being petty against the person that did something to her, because I would be the same way. You put your hands on me, it's up and it's stuck. But I think Danielle has to understand, you know, if she said that's the price of being famous when she was on Watch What Happens Live, the price of being famous is also knowing how to toe the line between doing too much and being petty and it being acceptable. At this point, people are getting tired of you. And I'm also like, girl, you need to also show that you are a housewife that can make up and move on. And I feel like Danielle is not doing that, because the reason why I honestly believe Jennifer Fessler and Dolores might be the only two being brought back is because of what they did in this episode and how they've been moving. They've been wanting everybody to come together. They've been wanting people to be friends. You keeping the mess going doesn't make you look like a viable candidate for next season. And again, like I said earlier, I don't think it would be fair for them to scrap the whole entire cast and Danielle and Rachel don't get to come back and they just got here. You know, they just started their job like 2 months ago and now the company going under. But I'm just like, you have to also play the game, Danielle. You have to learn some things don't need to be posted online. Sometimes you just got to be mute and, you know, texting your group chat and talk shit about the person in the group chat, you know. But let's get into this review. All right, y'all. So this episode, I'm going to be honest, it was a lackluster episode for me, but we got to get this review out. So I'm just going to focus on things that stood out to me. So we have this scene of Jennifer with her 2 brothers and I think her brother's wife. But it was a nice scene in the sense of like, I enjoy seeing Jennifer with her family. It seems like she has a good bond with her siblings. So it was a nice conversation to watch and see these people talk. And then I do also enjoy listening to them speak in their native language. Like, I'm currently trying to learn how to speak Spanish, but I just think it's really cool when people are like bilingual, trilingual, you know, the people that can speak like over like 15 languages. I think that's so crazy to me because I'm like, how do you keep all of that in your brain? But it was a nice sit down. So she's basically updating them on everything that's been going on. The fight that she had with Danielle, the situation at the Namaste podcast where Danielle pretty much said, girl, I can't believe you didn't blow, like, you know, catch on fire, you know, with the whole like it being like a cathedral and all of that stuff. And her family is like, oh wow, that's dirty, that's nasty. And she's like, yeah. So then her brother was like, did you push her or did you like shove her? And she was like, she got up in my space. She got up in all up in my space. And so I pushed her out my way and it was a light push. And when the brother mimicked the shove, I said, he knows his sister. He knows how his sister gets down because Jennifer, you shoved her and she whopped you in the head with a cup. It is what it is. Just be honest about the situation. And so they were like, well, did you talk to Teresa about it? And she was like, yeah, but she was like, Teresa wants me to make up with her or like be cool with her. And they were like, oh, for real? And she says in her confessional where it was like, it hurt. Jennifer was like, it was hurt because I just felt like as much as I defend and go up for Teresa, I just expected that to be reciprocated towards me and it wasn't. And that hurts my feelings. And she was like, it just hurts, you know, it just hurts that I just didn't get that in return. She also talks about how, you know, sometimes you just have to tell Teresa how you feel. and just lay it out there for her in layman's terms. And then she also was just kind of like, I'm going to have to stop being on autopilot when it comes to defending people. So then we actually see them have a sit down, and Teresa and her talk about it. And she pretty much tells Teresa, like, girl, I feel like I'm alone. I feel like I defend you, but you don't defend me. Like this whole Danielle situation, the fact that you want me to be cool with Danielle is crazy to me. And the fact that you're still friends with her is also crazy to me, because had the situation been reversed, I would have cut her off. But then I also look at Jennifer and I'm like, well, you can't ask Teresa to do something that you are not willing to do yourself. You're still cool with Margaret and Melissa, and Teresa does not like Margaret nor Melissa. Like, she can't stand them two women, but you're still cool with them, and she's not asking you not to be friends with them. So it's like, you can't ask that from them. But I also felt bad for Jennifer when she was like, I defend you and Dolores blindly, but it's never the same for me. And I felt that way since Jennifer has come on this show. They've never really liked Jennifer. They only tolerated her. And I feel like if Jennifer would just get that in her mind, like early on in the season, her like season on being on this show, that they merely just tolerate you and then move accordingly, she wouldn't be worried about like being friends with Teresa or being friends with Melissa or being cool with them. She would be able to stand on her own 2 feet and keep it pushing. But like somebody said online, where they were like, Jennifer is a fan that got turned into a housewife, and Teresa is a housewife. Like, Teresa just doesn't blindly follow any of these women. The only people she blindly follows are her husbands, and Jennifer expecting this out of Teresa is sad, because it's like, she's shown you that she don't really be riding for other people, only for the men in her life. So I don't get why you're expecting that from her. You know what I mean? But I was also kind of proud of Jennifer, because I didn't expect her to be honest with her. And she was very honest, that she was like, I don't feel like you have my back, and maybe I need to ease up on supporting you. And Teresa was like, I do have your back. I do support you, but like, it is what it is. Like, the fight situation, I didn't see it happen. The thing at Namaste Day, I was there at my podcast. I wasn't about to get into a fight with y'all and then go out there and give that energy to my people, my fans that showed up. And that's true. But I also understand where Jennifer is coming from. But I'm also looking at Jennifer like, girl, that's why you don't blindly follow people. I like, whether you've been friends with somebody for 5 years, 20 years, 50 years, you always need to have a mind of your own, because that's what adults do. So Jennifer's going to have to take this L. So then they start talking about this court case. Now, before we came to this scene, we had this scene of Teresa speaking to Gia about her feelings about Louis going through this court case. So basically, in this scene with Teresa and Gia, they're talking about the court case. And, Teresa is talking about how, I've already put you girls through enough. With me going to prison, your daddy going to prison, and then getting deported. And then with my grandparents passing, like, I think Teresa has PTSD, because you can visibly see that, like, she looks like overwhelmed, and like you could tell that she feels like she look a little disheveled, to be honest. And so she basically is just like, this whole situation, I just can't wait for it to be over, because it's taken like 6 months, and it's a lot going on. And she's like, Margaret has played a part in this. And I'm like, okay, how does Margaret play a part? Because Teresa has been saying that, and she's waiting. Like, she's been talking about being vindicated. But I'm like, in what way has Margaret played a part in this restraining order? Because we end up seeing her on the phone with her lawyer, and he's like, yeah, I don't have a problem sitting down and talking to the ladies about this situation, because she wants to sit down the women and like have her lawyer explain how Margaret is attached to this, even Jennifer Fessler. And, Gia says, Jennifer Fessler is a straight shooter. She'll say what it is, whether or not she's friends with you or Margaret. But I'm like, in what way is Margaret attached to this? Are you saying that Margaret gave like a character statement against Louis because of like what happened at the reunion with him contacting her son? Or are you saying that like she's helped paying for like this lady's lawyer fees? Like, in what way is Margaret attached to this? Because Teresa has been pretty adamant about wanting to expose how Margaret has been causing issues in her life, and she has yet to do it. So I'm like, in what way is Margaret really bothering you? And for your sake, I hope the lawyer actually lays it out for you, because right now Teresa just, to me, looks crazy, and it looks like, she looks paranoid. But if she does have proof that Margaret is the one that has been like progressing or helping, like, stall this whole like restraining order situation, then I might be able to give her like some leeway. But I'm also like, it don't take 6 months for a restraining order to be given. Like, because that to me means either the lady didn't have enough proof or she has enough proof and Louis is trying to explain the proof. Either way, it's a messy situation. So we then have this scene of Dolores going to Jennifer Fessler's house, and they're just sitting down, just talking, catching up and stuff like that. And so Dolores brings up about how she wants to take the ladies on like a wellness retreat, some team building, have them climb ropes to each other, do the trust fall and stuff. Because she was like, if we could just get back to the energy that we had when we were in Ireland last year. And then they do the flashback to the pub where, we see Jackie chugging, I don't know what she was chugging, some malt or something against one of the people in Ireland. And you even see a scene of Teresa and Margaret laughing and having a fun time. She was like, if we can just get back to that, I feel like the group would be so much better. And again, this is why I think Dolores and Jennifer, if they do a reboot, might be the only ones coming back, or they might still be around to be a part of the cast in some capacity, because they both have the same understanding that in order for this show to be successful, we have to let go of things and we have to move forward and we have to move on. And Dolores even brings up the whole situation, like where she got into it with, Jen Fessler brings up the whole situation that happened between Dolores and Jennifer Aiden at Teresa's podcast event. And Dolores was like, I wasn't really even mad at Jennifer, I give tough love. Like, that's just who I am. That's how I do my sisters. That's how I do my kids. And I'm like, okay, Dolores, but not everybody operates in that way. That's okay. But she was just like, I understood why Jennifer was upset, but I just felt like she was taking it out on Teresa, and you could already tell she was anxious. And she called me a few hours before the event, and she was like, "Girl, if I pass out, make sure you call 911." That's how nervous and scared she was to do the podcast. So she was just like, I didn't want her to do that. Like, she didn't want Jennifer to give all that energy to Teresa, and she was like, I think Teresa can do bad all by herself, but with this situation with Louis, it's taking a toll on her. And she was talking about the court case. So then Jennifer Fessler was like, girl, do you know anything about the court case? And Dolores was like, no, girl, I don't. I stay out of it. I'm just trying to make sure she okay, but I could tell that it's weighing on her. And I agree with Dolores. Teresa could be a beast by herself, but attaching herself to Louis was such a bad idea, because now she's dealing with all of these issues that he has, with the whole scamming situation, with that fake TikTok app. Now you're dealing with this, what's it called, restraining order, and you could tell it's taking a toll on her. I just wish she would have just been by herself for a lot longer and went to therapy and then decided to be with somebody if Teresa wanted to be with somebody. So then Dolores asks Jennifer Fessler, like, so what's up with you and Rachel? Pretty much, Jennifer Fessler tells Dolores, girl, I sent her this long text message about how I was feeling about our relationship, about what happened at, the Glitter Kids event that Danielle threw, and she never texted me back. And they actually show screenshots of the text message conversation. Now, I'm not gonna lie, as big as that text was on Fessler's phone, there was no need for them to blow it up, because I was looking at it while she was texting. I said, but basically what they showed on the screen is that Jennifer Fessler told Rachel, like, girl, Gia and Teresa asked me if John was bad-mouthing Gia. I could not have defended him even more fiercely. She says, I am so frustrated and upset that you keep turning on me. And then they kind of like cut off. So basically, when she sent that text message to Rachel, Rachel never responded. And that pissed off Fessler, because she was like, oh, okay, I see where I stand with you. Like, I'm cool. I'm good on you. Well, Rachel wanted to throw a pajama party, and she invited everybody except Teresa. We knew that was going to happen. So I guess she invited everybody with this like mass text message. Well, Jennifer Fessler texted Rachel back being like, girl, I'm not coming to that, but thanks for the invite. And then after that, Rachel immediately texts Jennifer back being like, I hope you're not coming because I didn't text you back. And she was like, pretty much, yeah. That's why I'm not coming. Like, girl, what? Why would I come to that when you didn't respond to my text message and we have problems? And to me, I feel like Fessler is damned if she do, damned if she don't. Because I think had Jennifer Fessler not said anything and been like, well, Rachel asked me not to get in between any of y'all in this or get into this situation between you and them, so I don't want to be a part of this. I think that would have pissed off Gia and would have pissed off Teresa, because they would have been like, oh, so he did say something negatively, because if he didn't, you would have said he didn't. Then I can see Rachel being like, well, you know, he didn't say nothing bad about her, so why didn't you just say he didn't say anything bad about her? Because Rachel be up and down. So they're still sitting at the kitchen table, and Dolores is like, honestly, Fessler, I think y'all are at two different points in y'all's lives. Like, y'all are decades apart, and what you find important is important, and what she finds important is important. Like, it's trivial, and it is trivial, for like, to Dolores' credit, but Dolores is like, I do think you should reach out to her and come to the pajama party. So we actually see Jennifer Fessler send a voice note to Rachel and being like, hey, I changed my mind, I want to come to the pajama party. But she was also like, we need to have a conversation too, though. So it's time for the pajama party. And honestly, Rachel, I think, did a nice setup. I thought it was cute that everybody had on the same pajamas. I like those types of pajamas with the collars and the pockets and all of that stuff. But I thought it was a cute setup. They even had them eating and sitting on the floor. Kind of looked like camping. But we actually have Rachel and Jennifer Fessler having a conversation. I was also really surprised that she invited Jackie. Like, everybody was invited except Teresa. And a few people were upset about that online, because they were like, oh, so they really trying to ice Teresa out. Like, you even invite Jackie, and they know Margaret and Jackie don't like each other, and then Dolores don't like Jackie, and all of this stuff. And I mean, I don't think they're wrong. Like, it definitely is giving the vibe that they're trying to ice Teresa out. The issue is Teresa has such a large fan base, and then the network actually likes her, that there's, like, honestly no way to kick her off the island. Same way with Giselle. Like, the fans can't stand Giselle. Majority of the fans of Real Housewives of Potomac can't stand Giselle. But it is something about Giselle that the network loves down, that they just can't get rid of her, you know? But I do find it interesting. So like I said, Jennifer Fessler and Rachel have a conversation. And Jennifer Fessler just tells Rachel her feelings. She's like, girl, you disrespected me, you dismissed me, and I don't like it. Like, and I don't understand what the issue is, because you told me not to get involved. You told me to also defend your husband. I did that, and I still get disrespected. And so Rachel pretty much says that, honestly, the moment she heard Teresa and John's name together, she like clicked out. And she was just like, it just really pissed me off because of their whole situation. And that leads me to believe that Rachel never really wanted to beef with Teresa this hard. It was all of her husband. I don't really think Rachel even has that much of a problem with Teresa, but she's standing by her husband the same way Teresa's standing beside Larry the Lobster, aka Louie. So they hug it out and they move on. We then see the ladies sit down at the table that they have set up. It's kind of like a camping style, kind of gave glamping to me, you know what I'm saying? It was interesting. They were all laughing, talking about like milk and prostates, you know, how does your husband tell you when he wants it? It was a cute scene. And they all seem to be cool, you know, for that one moment. And, you know, like Dolores said, when they talk about sex, that's when all of a sudden everybody want to be cool. But then pretty much Dolores and Jennifer Fessler tells them that she wants to take everybody on this wellness retreat. And they asked everybody who's all in. And everybody said that they was in. But we know that it doesn't happen because the house that they were going to catches on fire. But it seemed like everyone at this point was willing to move forward. So I wonder what happened to make everybody switch up. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic. Definitely hop down in the comments below. And definitely, if you like what you heard, give me a like or a thumbs down. Either way, it helps push the video into the algorithm. All right. But I'm out, y'all. Deuces.